Hi, am I audible? Let me just check once. Alright, so I think it is still loading. Yeah. We are going to discuss about tissues today. So that is mainly plant tissues. Okay, so let me just see this once. Okay. Alright then, so let's get started. So mainly we'll be discussing about the tissues, and in today's class I'll discuss about the meristematic tissue. Okay, so before I start, let me introduce myself. I'm Vani Kari, biology educator at an academy. I'm an engineer with bachelor's and master's degree in biotechnology and a B.Ed degree, also a founder of a startup where I grow microgreens by vertical farming technology. So join with us in Telegram for homework and class notes. You can join the channel Vani Kari ICSE class 9 and 10 biology, and the Telegram channel of Unacademy ICSE and ISC both. So this link you can find in the description box. So go to the description box and click on the link to join the Telegram of Unacademy channel. Also, we conduct special classes on Unacademy platform which is absolutely free. So here certain percentage of topics will be covered, and you can learn from your favorite educator for free. Engage with educators via poll. So we'll be giving a or will be conducting a poll or basically a quiz. Okay, so that you can know the concepts clear. So wherever you don't understand a particular question, so where you can clear your doubt using the doubt clearing session. So that is basically so doubt clearing session also I'll mention. So this is clear your doubt in the live special class itself. So that is by using a question tab. So there is a question tab available where you have an option to attach an image and type in your question and send it to the educator during live session. So the educator will be getting a notification that the learner has asked the doubt and will be clearing your doubt. Okay, so for the top special classes you can visit the link in the description. So in description you can find a link to special classes and also link to the community, link to the bugs bounty. So all that you can get it. So just find the description box and start taking up classes from those particular links that you can see. Okay, yeah, so this is the one. So the previous one was actually a free class that I was talking about. So this is an academy subscription feature which is basically called a plus class. Okay, so these here you can learn live from the comfort of your home. So what is that? So basically since it is online, offline is also coming, but yeah, so as the online is happening, so you can learn live from the comfort of your home. Unlimited access to all the courses will be there. So like different educators will come up with their own courses, so you will have access to all the courses once you take the subscription. Then top educators of India are going to take the classes in one platform, so that is an academy platform. Regular doubt clearing session will be done, and also it can be called answer writing session because 1 second. Yeah, so this can also be called as an answer writing session, where we can conduct a quiz. Just a second, let me just check this. So this is basically a complete syllabus will be covered. So exhaustive coverage of a syllabus is done. Yes. So mentorship and guidance is given. Study material in the form of a PDF is given. The practice tests are given. Live test series are given. And also with this, so you will have access to English batch as well as a English batch. So once you take the subscription, so basically you can have access to, depending on your preference, you can either go with the English batch or the Hindi batch there. And with that, there is a daily practice session where the quizzes are conducted on a daily basis. Then weekly mock test series will be there. So this is, on a weekly basis. A test is conducted where, analysis is also done. So you can take up the test first and analysis if you have any doubt related to the same, so you can take up the analysis test as well. Then with that, there are live quizzes, daily MCQ and subjective test series are also there. So once you take the subscription, so you will have benefit of all these features. So this is with respect to plus subscription, and you can see Unacademy plus subscription plan at an affordable price. So this is for class 9. So it is, you can see months are written here and the price is written. So since this is the very beginning of your academic year, so since this is the June month, so you can go ahead with 12 months of subscription, or if you just want to try like how exactly this works, so you can also try with 9 months of subscription. So this is completely your choice. Now let's see. Yeah, so as you are all in class 9, so if you are willing to prepare for class 10 as well in the main one, so you can even go for the 24 months of subscription. So that option is also available. So now depending on your convenience, you can go for any of these months, and the respective price is given for those respective months. So for 12 months, it is 17,250. So as you see, if you go on taking for a higher subscription, the cost is getting reduced, so that is per month. So you can have a look at this. So now, for 12 months, this is about 1,438. So if you are taking for 18 months, per month it is 1,278. So basically you will be saving much more amount if you are going for a higher months of subscription. So usually I suggest them to go with the 12 months of subscription. Alright, so let's get started. So this is about the tissues. Am I audible? Alright, so tissues is what? Anybody? What is tissues? Or what is cell? What is tissue? What is organ? Hi Nitesh. Good evening. So I did not mention this. So you can have a look at this. So this is my referral code Vani YT. Okay, where you will be getting 10% discount on the subscription. So there, add the gift box, so that is written add a referral code. So there you need to mention the code. With that you will be getting 10% discount. Yes, anybody, what is cell, what is tissue, or what exactly is anatomy? And in today's session what we are going to study, so that is mainly the meristematic tissue or the permanent tissue which we are studying. So in that case, how the formation occurred, what is their function. So what is the function of meristematic tissue, what is the function of a permanent tissue. So why do we call it as a permanent, why not a simple one, or just like a meristematic tissue which is named based on the ability to divide, why are we calling this one a permanent tissue. So we'll discuss everything. So as of now, cell is basically, it is like we all know, it is a structural and functional unit of the life. So any life, so it can be unicellular organism, it can be multicellular organism. So in general any life, when we mention, so you can see that structural and a functional unit. So as such many structural and functional units, which is actually a cell, so when they organize themselves, like they are coming in contact with each other. So basically the cell to cell, they are in contact. Okay, so here is one cell, so there is another cell, so just like this. So now this we call a group of cells are there, and that is called as a tissue. Now then what exactly is a group of, organ? So organ, when we mention, so organ is basically, it is group of tissue, not just a cell, group of tissues. So that is all the animal tissue which are there. So that is epithelial cell, muscular tissue, then there is nervous tissue. Okay, so connective tissue. So all this can be considered. So where many of the all the different types of the tissues are present, so that can form an organ. And as such many organisms, so basically organ together, so we have an organ system, right? So there is a reproductive system, so there is a digestive system, there is an endocrine system, there is a excretory system, circulatory system, nervous system, respiratory system. So like this we have many more systems. So now organs will join together and there is a formation of the organ system. Hi, Shashwat. Yeah, so now based on that, now depending on a different systems that are there, so there is a complete organism that is formed. Now here in plant tissues, when we mention, so there also organ is being formed. So there is a leaf, there is a shoot system, there is a root system, so there can be flower formation. So whenever we are discussing about the tissues or a cell, so complete organism, so it can be unicellular, it can be multicellular. So especially multicellular when we mention, so this is the way of formation. So cells together will form the tissue together will form the organs together will form the organ system, and organ system together is going to form an organism. So in that case you can see this is now a cell, which is a basic unit of any organism. So even in case of multicellular, okay, so even when we mention multicellular, so many cells are there, or it can be unicellular. So in that unicellular also, what is going to happen? So basically you can see the number of organelles present. So there can be many different number of organelles, not organelles you can find, and it is single cell. So that is why unicellular, when you observe, so it is it is capable of independent existence is written. So why is it independent existence? You can see, so this is basically why is all the organelles which are there, so they are performing a different function. Like there is a mesosome, just like analogous to a mitochondria, which will perform the cellular respiration. So there is a ribosome, so that will perform the protein synthesis. So there is a cell membrane, there is a cell wall, there is a cytoplasm, so inclusion body. So different organelles you can find even in a unicellular. So even though it is single celled, it is capable of independent existence. So with that we'll start with the tissues. So tissues are classified as meristematic tissue, permanent tissue. Just a second. Hi, I hope I'm audible. Yes, okay. All right, so let's see this. So now tissues, when we mention, so there are different types of tissues. So there is a meristematic tissue and there is a permanent tissue, right? Yeah. Alright, so in that case, now primary meristematic tissue is further divided as primary meristem, secondary meristem, and under primary meristem. So this is the division meristematic tissue, which is divided into primary meristem and then secondary or a lateral meristem. Then with that, now primary meristematic tissue is further divided where it is forming apical meristem, and then there is the intercalary meristem. So apical meristem is also there, intercalary meristem are there. So these are the types of meristematic tissue. So now when we see this, here you can see this is there, so that is with respect to permanent tissue. So what exactly is permanent tissue? The meristematic undergoes cell division, okay, and after the cell division, so like one of the cell can become permanent tissue. So in that case, so meristematic tissue is mainly known for the cell division function. So after the cell division is done, so permanent tissue formation can be seen. So now this permanent tissue, when we mention, so this is further divided as simple permanent and a complex permanent tissue. So what is simple permanent tissue or a complex permanent tissue? So now what exactly is simple. So simple, when we mention, so here you can find only one type of a tissue formation, okay. So only one type of tissue is found, so that is called as a simple permanent tissue. Then when we mention about the complex, so complex is basically, we can say, more than one type of tissue is found here. So this is with respect to more than one type, okay. So in that case you can come across, so there is parenchyma tissue, so there can be sclerenchyma tissue, like simple tissue when we mention, so it is only one type, where you can see all of them being parenchymatous. That means they are all having parenchyma tissue only. So this is now for a parenchyma, okay. So now if we mention a complex permanent tissue, so what exactly happens? It is not just one type of tissue, but you can find more than one type there. So what is that more than one type? So like a xylem, or we know there is a phloem. So it is not just made of parenchyma, so it is having a parenchyma, it is having a sclerenchyma. So now specifically if I mention a xylem, so there you can see again, what is it? The xylem vessels, the tracheids are found. So in that way, it is not just one type of a tissue, but many different types of tissues are found, and that we call as a complex one. So this is a complex where you can find more than one type of a tissue. All right. So now under simple we have a parenchyma, then there is sclerenchyma, and then there is collenchyma. So now under the permanent, so there is a complex tissue called as xylem, and then there is a phloem. So there is a xylem also, phloem also. So these are the complex permanent tissue. So let's have a look at meristematic tissue. So primary meristem is there, then there is secondary meristem or a lateral meristem. All right. So with respect to that, the primary meristem is formed first always, okay. So primary meristem formation you can see in the very beginning. So this is formed first, and that itself, okay, so that itself gives rise to a the secondary later on form from the primary itself. You can see there is a secondary or a lateral meristem. So now with respect to that, now primary meristem is formed in the early life, so that is in the very beginning of the plant life, main like whenever the seed germination occurs. So there is a plumule and a radicle, so those tips are having actively dividing cells. So that is a meristematic tissue, which is a primary meristem, and this forms the primary plant body. So what is that primary plant body? Anybody? So why do we say that it is a primary plant body? Okay. So, this forms the primary plant body. So, that means basically you can see. So, there is, the shoot meristem and root meristem. So, that is in the plumule as well as radicle. So, when we mention plumule, so plumule is going to give rise to a shoot system. Okay. Then there is a root meristem. So, this can form a this can be present in the radicle. So radicle is there. So that radicle is the one which is having a meristematic tissue, and there is a continuous cell division. So you can see a continuous cell division there. One second. So this one you can see a continuous cell division. So with respect to a continuous cell division, so you can see the plant, it is going to increase in height. Then there is increase in girth or width of a plant can be seen. So that is mainly with respect to the primary meristem. Now, there is a secondary or the lateral meristem. So here this is found in mature regions as the plant grows. All right, so let's say this is the tip. So now here you can see many of the meristematic tissues. Okay, so now this further grows. So this is going to grow further. So again you can find the tissues over here. So that is the meristematic tissue. Okay, but while the growth is occurring, so you can see a remnant tissues, that is some of them are still remaining, and that we call as the intercalary, which can form the the bud mainly, like there is a formation of leaf, or maybe there is a bud, floral bud formation. So anything that is occurring, so it is basically arising from the intercalary meristem, which comes under the apical meristem here. So apical meristem is the one that is there at the tip. So now this is the tip, this is the tip. So now earlier this was the tip. As the cell growth occurred, cell division occurred, so now this is the tip. So apical meristem, when we mention, so this is with respect to apical meristem. So it is usually found at the tip. So not just a tip of a plumule or a shoot system. So it can be tip of a root system as well. Now what is intercalary? So that is in between the meristematic tissue. So you can find this intercalary, which has still got the capacity to undergo cell division. So with respect to that, you can see intercalary meristem here. So that intercalary meristem, it is basically, it can form buds. Okay, so leaf, bud and formation. So that is mainly coming because of the intercalary. So there is one more example. So whenever if you see a cow or a buffalo grazing onto the grasses, okay, so wherever it has cut, so basically again you can see growth of this particular leaf from those grasses, mainly sugarcane if we have to mention. So in that case, intercalary meristem is the one which is playing a role, and that helps in formation of a leaf. Now here this is found. So this is for increase in height. Okay, so this one is with respect to increase in height, and here this is with respect to increase in width of a plant. Okay, so width is going to be increased. So that is mainly because this will form the secondary structure. So there are secondary structure formations you can see. Mainly the cambium. So that is, let's see, this is the plant now. So in the center you can see there is a periderm, there is a cork cambium, then you can see there is a cortex mentioned, primary phloem, then there is secondary phloem formation you can see, which is helping in the increase in girth of a plant. And then there is pith, primary xylem, secondary xylem you can find, and then there is a vascular cambium. So wherever you see these terms that there is a cambium, so what does it indicate? So this is going to increase. Now here with respect to lateral meristem, so there is increase in width of a plant or girth of a plant. So that is possible because of the lateral meristem. While we see the primary meristem, so especially the apical meristem, So it is responsible for increase in height. So how exactly the plants are growing so tall? So that is because of the apical meristem. So example here, vascular cambium and a core cambium is mentioned. So let's have a look at this. So what is the smallest structure present on axils of leaves called? So what is this structure? Here is one. So there might be one which is not seen. So what is the small structure present on axils of the leaves called? So this is called as the axillary bud. Okay. So leftover shoot meristem cells in the axils of the leaves can form branches or the flower. So that means there can be leaf formation. So there can be branch formation, or there can even be a flower formation that can occur. So in that case, the leftover shoot meristem cells in the axils of the leaves, so that can form branches or the flower. So now you know this is what I was talking about. So grasses contain intercalary meristem, due to which they can regenerate when it is grazed by a herbivore. So herbivores are the ones who eat these products, so that is the agri products. So now you can see zone of elongation is mentioned, and here internodes is mentioned, so that is between the two node. So this space, what is this? So this is a internode. Then you can see zone of elongation. Intercalary meristem is that red part which is given, a red tinge part is given, no? So that is basically a intercalary meristem. So these are nodes there. Intercalary meristem only in case of a monocot stem is mentioned. Alright, so moving on to permanent tissues, so we have a parenchyma, then there is collenchyma, and then there is sclerenchyma, which is actually isodiametric in nature. Alright, so this is parenchymatous cells. So throughout, like if you observe from them from any angle, so they are basically isodiametric. So what is isodiametric? Having the same diameter throughout. So that is their feature. So that is with respect to the parenchyma, but there is again a shape variation can be seen. So that is depending on the type of function that it performs. So major components of the plant. One second. Okay, alright. So now this forms the major component of plant organs, like most of the plants. So now let's say stem, or let's say root itself, or even a leaf. So you can see these mesophyll cells mainly in the leaf when we mention. So there is a palisade mesophyll, spongy mesophyll. So all those are actually parenchymatous cells. Okay, so there you can find a parenchyma. So thin wall made of cellulose. So this is made of cellulose itself. Then you can see this spherical, oval, round, polygonal, or elongated in shape. So now this is closely packed or small intercellular spaces. You can find storage, photosynthesis, and secretion is also done. So this is with respect to parenchyma tissue. So what storage? Food storage. Photosynthesis is done as it is a mesophyll cell. So there is chloroplast that is present, chlorophyll that is present. So it will absorb the water and the photosynthesis will be done. Now closely packed or small intercellular spaces. So slight spaces between the cells can also be seen. Then so we can mention collenchyma, which is present below the epidermis in patches or in homogeneous layer. So cells are thickened at the corner, so that is by cellulose, pectin, hemicellulose deposition can also be there. Then these collenchyma cells can be oval shaped, or these can be spherical or polygonal, and even may contain chloroplast. So with respect to that, again there is a variation. So cells, why they are thickened at the corner? So because there is a deposition of pectin, then there is hemicellulose, and so basically cellulose component is also there. The thickening can be because of any of this or all of these two. Now, so there is a variation. So no intercellular space. Why there is no intercellular space? Because they are compactly packed by the inner material. So with respect to that, there is no intercellular space and mechanical support and a food assimilation will be done. Alright, so what is that mechanical support? So basically it is much more stronger, so it is providing a support. And other than that, food assimilation. So now, as the phloem prepares the food, so distribution of the food has to be done, that is to be done through the phloem. So for that, mechanical support for any function, so that has to be done. And then food assimilation. So what is food assimilation? So that is basically, we can say, food once it is digested, so that has to be supplied throughout, that is to the tissue, so that can be done by the plant body. So then there is sclerenchyma, which is long and narrow, thick lignified wall with the pits you can see. So there you can see dead cells without the protoplasm. Then two types are there. So there is a fiber or a sclerate, so which is again providing a mechanical support. So now this is the structure of the fiber. Okay. So lumen thick, and then there is the cell wall. So lumen is thicker and cell wall can be found. So here also it is pits are seen, lumen is seen, thick cell wall is seen, and then this is basically a sclerate. Alright. So with respect to that, you can see, so pits here. One second. So now, why is it not writing? Just a second. Yeah. So now these are the pits through which transportation of water can be done. So that is whenever sclerenchymatous tissues are associated with tracheids, vessels, or it can even be with respect to hi Yashraj, good evening. Or it can even be with respect to the formation of let's say a phloem is there, so companion cell is there, so there is a sclerenchyma. So sieve tube, again for sieve tube mechanical support is required. So in that case, you can see all of these are the functions associated with the sclerenchyma. Then there is collenchyma and the parenchyma. Okay, so parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma are the simple ones. The complex ones are anyway xylem and phloem. So this is with respect to complex permanent tissue. So this one is a complex permanent tissue. All right. And with respect to that, so we have two types. So there is xylem and then there is phloem. So these are the ones which can be seen in there. Okay, so before I end this session, so let me just see about this. So there is a guardians batch for class 9 with the start date is 1st of June. There are many more sessions which are yet to go live. So you can take up the live classes. So maths, physics, chemistry and biology will be covered. So if you are subscribing for class 9, so you will be getting class 10, 11 and 12 subscription absolutely free. So introducing community, so never miss on any update from your favorite educator. So get session notes and practice material. Share your feedback directly with the educator via poll. So there is a Bucks Bounty, which is an opportunity for all learners to report any inappropriate content in the video. So be the first one to report a particular issue to claim your prize. Report any inappropriate content using the form in the description. So again, for this you will find a link in the description box. Alright. So thank you all. So see you all in the next session. So but before that, let me just say about this. So subscribe to our channel. So that is Unacademy ICSE and ISC boards. So download the Unacademy Learner app now. Like and share the video and click on bell icon to get notified about these sessions. Okay. See you then. So see you all in the next session. Bye bye everyone. Take care. Thank you all so much.